Welcome to Delicious and Nutritious, where we use the best quality ingredients to cook the tastiest food. And today what we're going to cook is going to be minestrone soup. So without further ado, let's go for the minestrone soup recipe that's going to be coming from the Food Network. And as always, we are going to give you guys a rundown of all the ingredients, and as always, using as much organic as we possibly can. So let's make it happen. Starting off, the recipe is going to call for olive oil. You guys know that I am not a big fan of cooking with olive oil. If I do want to add olive oil, I will put it towards the end, maybe when the soup is a little bit hot and I'm reheating it, or I'm about to eat it and it cools down just a little bit, then I'll put a little splash of olive oil, but I don't cook with it. I do cook with the coconut oil. Refined coconut oil, number one. And then we are going to need an onion. We then need garlic cloves. Calls for a total of 4. And then it calls for 1 large carrot. And we do have rainbow carrots here. So these are gonna taste virtually the same. They're a little bit different. So if you do prefer the regular one. So I have 3 medium-sized carrots that I will use. And then it's calling for a 1/3 pound of green beans. So I have a total of 1 pound of green beans. And then next, the recipe does not call for it, but I am going to be adding a little bit of squash and zucchini here. So I have 2 zucchini, 2 squash that we're gonna go ahead and dice up. We do have celery as well that we will use. And then we are gonna need dried oregano, dried basil. We're gonna need some freshly ground pepper. And then next, we are gonna need some diced and some crushed tomatoes. Very important that we have both of these. They're gonna really make the soup what it is. And then the recipe calls for 15 ounces of kidney beans as well. So this is 15. Since I'm doubling, I'm gonna have 2. 1 cup of elbow pasta. So we do have our jovial brown rice gluten-free pasta. Really love this one. And then we need 6 cups of chicken broth that we're gonna use for the liquid. You can also put a little water in there. And then finally, grated Parmesan to put on top. Violife, great brand. You guys know we already love this. And then finally, some fresh basil as well if you do desire to garnish with it. And here we go, starting to cook. So number one thing we're gonna do is we need a big old pan. I'm telling you, if you guys don't have, I think this is gonna be a 6-quart Teflon pan, all stainless steel. As always, one of the things that I really like to cook with. So this is gonna go on the stove, and then we're gonna put some coconut oil in there, and then we're gonna start chopping the onion and getting it ready to go in. And the first thing we are going to do is dice up our onion. And all of our onions are chopped up, and now I'm really feeling it right now. Woo! Into the pan. Get it ready, there's gonna be a lot of vegetables in here. And next, we need 4 cloves of garlic mince. I am going to chop it up with a, I don't know what else you call this thing, a chopper. And this is gonna be finely chopped, which is basically minced garlic. Some nice minced garlic right there. And that, the onions are on the stove, they're cooking. They wanna go for about 4 minutes until they become translucent. And then we're adding in the garlic, which is ready to go right now. Stirring it up right here. Looks like we're getting towards the translucent part of the onions. And while we're doing that, because at some point we're gonna have to add more, we are going to add in, you might wanna move this to the side. We need some celery, so I'm just gonna break off the stalks right now. So we're gonna go with 4. So now we have the celery prepped. We're just gonna cut off the tops of the carrots real quick. And these are gonna be ready to get diced up. We're gonna now drop the garlic into the soup. Now time to add in the garlic. And we are now gonna dice up the celery. If you have bigger stalks and smaller stalks, what you can do is chop them in half and then cut those in half. And that will create more even celery dices. So we have the garlic in there right now, and we are going to add this in here. And there is the celery. Pop this up and stir it. Onions are looking translucent. We are ready to add in the celery and the carrots. So carrots are a little bit more challenging to dice up, and they're a little bit more coarse of a vegetable. So meaning they're gonna take a little bit more time for us to have to cook them. So look at that right there. We have white, we have purple and orange, and we have green. Nice assortment of different colors right there of vegetables. Alrighty, here we go. Right in. Go ahead and stir that around. And then we're gonna keep cooking this right here as we get the next part prepped. And now we have to get the green beans ready. And then last but not least, we are going to add in the zucchini. So this is calling for a 1/3 pound of green beans. And I have a full pound here. And it's asking to be cut into a 1/2 inch. Obviously I've already trimmed off the edges of these, And the final round here, get every last vegetable we possibly can. All right, we're gonna stir this up, get this ready to go. And then last but not least, while the carrots and celery are going in, we are going to get our zucchini ready. I love zucchini in a recipe like this. It just, I don't know, something about the texture of it, something about the taste of it just really hits home run for me. So we're about ready. Gonna drop this in there just like that, stir it up. And finally we have the zucchini. If you like it, dicing it all up. All right, so I'm looking like I have a decent amount here, so I'm probably gonna leave this one out, and I'm just gonna get this other zucchini in there. And then we are also going to be adding the oregano in right now. There we have our zucchini going in. Time to stir. Next, super easy, a teaspoon of oregano and basil. So we have the oregano, teaspoon, and then we're gonna throw in some basil. 2 teaspoons. And then it's calling for a 1/3 teaspoon of salt. You guys already know, gray salt here. So we are going to use a 1.5 teaspoons right there. A little bit more, perfect. Time to stir it up, time to cook. So that's gonna be cooking for 3 minutes. Now what we need to do is we need to get these prepped and ready to go. So we're gonna need a can opener, and then we're gonna need our chicken broth, and we are gonna stir this real quick, and then we're gonna add in the diced tomatoes. So 14 and 15 ounces. I virtually just call it 1 can, because 28 ounces of each, I wouldn't really worry about that extra 2. And these ones are going in there. All right, diced tomatoes and crushed tomatoes. And we are going to stir this up. Got the liquid going in there. We're starting to turn it into a soup. And we are gonna be cooking this for 10 minutes. But before we start cooking for 10 minutes, we need to add in the broth. So here's broth number 1. If you guys are vegan, you can use vegetable broth as well. That does work here. And so now we have to bring it to a boil. And then once it's at a boil, we reduce it to a simmer because we wanna heat the soup up so it's able to cook the vegetables appropriately. And then we will set that 10-minute timer. And next, 10 minutes has been up. We are going to add in the pasta, which is gonna be 2 total cups. I'm gonna put the whole box in there, and then I'm gonna put the kidney beans as well, which is going to be 15 ounces, which is 1 can of beans. I am doubling it, so it's gonna be 2. Here we go, kidney beans going in. And just to be safe, since the jovial is a little bit different, I am going to actually cook it separately, and then we will come back and we will chop it up together and we will add it in. So 10 minutes on this, 12 minutes, rolling boil, and we will be back. And we have officially finished the pasta, 12 minutes on that. The minestrone soup is done. Check it out right there. Absolutely delicious and nutritious. Look at the vegetable density right there in that soup. That's what I'm talking about. And there you have it. So we'll take some of this pasta and we are going to break it up and put it in there. And you have yourself an incredible minestrone soup. And if you do want to do the chopped fresh basil, now would be the time to garnish it along with the Parmesan cheese. This is gonna be the Violife Parmesan cheese. And there you have it, guys. We have ourselves amazing, delicious, and nutritious minestrone soup. And it's organic. So thank you guys for taking some time out of your day for making another delicious and nutritious treat. I can't wait to make more recipes for you that are gonna keep nourishing us and, of course, changing the world one bite at a time. I'll see you guys out on that next recipe.